Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome in Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis. And appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Not only do you have the Razorbacks taking on Vanderbilt tonight at 9 p.m., we're going to discuss that a lot in depth. We're also going to have What to Watch presented by Bryant Technologies. May talk a little bit about what happened last night with the Vice documentary, those who are actually able to watch it. So we'll do some of that talk, and we'll also get into the SEC update, look some buy or sell, maybe some specials with BetSaracen, and of course, get to your chats as well as your phone calls. 478-344-6623 is that number. But fellas, how are we feeling on this rainy day up here in Northwest Arkansas?
Pretty decent, I guess. I think I'm antsy. Like I'm ready to get to this basketball game and just see what the heck this is going to look like, because I've kind of given up on trying to know what to expect. And it could either be really bad based on what we just got done seeing their last time out, or they could do what they've done all year and, just kind of flip the script as soon as you kind of give up on them. So I hate that it's a 9:00 tip. I wish it was a 1 p.m. tip, but here we are. We just get to sit in angst for 9 hours, and I'm appreciative that we get to do this to kill some time.
Yeah, I would say it's the calm before the storm, but it's been storming all day here in Northwest Arkansas, so it's the storm before the storm. But yeah, I'm kind of that same way too, just kind of a little bit anxious about these games about to take place. Really both, I mean, the Vanderbilt and the Mississippi State game. We've also got baseball at 3:00, which is going to be a nice little appetizer before we go to war tonight. But yeah, this is kind of how you want to feel. You want to be nervous before your team plays. That's I mean, obviously, it's a little bit horrifying, but that means you're playing for something. And the Arkansas Razorbacks, no doubt, are playing for something tonight at midnight. But it's gonna be exciting, and so I'm looking forward to it. And we're back to that roulette table, man. You guys know I'm a casino guy. This feels like we're about to walk into the BetSaracen. We're about to lay some stuff down.
Yeah, no, it feels like that, but also too, as a reminder for those you may not know, tonight we are doing a watch party. We have decided, or watch along. We have decided to do it starting at a little before 9, and we're going to watch all the game all together because we want to make sure that it's not us, that we're not the jinx when it comes to how terrible those Saturday games have gone. But we're going to do that with Pot to Palace starting at 9:00, around 9:00. And then there'll also be a separate post-game show following that. So tune in for both of them and you'll get your reactions and everything there. So it should be a good time.
Take a nap and then stay awake.
Yes.
Join us for this. Family, you're going to have to put the kids to bed before the game. You ain't got nothing to do. Don't watch the game solo. Get your popcorn. Hop on with us. Be a good time. The watch parties have not been bad luck. Actually, Fishman, we ran the numbers. We ran every single number yesterday. And if we could have proven that the watch parties were a jinx, we wouldn't have done this. But I'll tell you what the jinx is. It's day games. Okay?
Yeah.
It's day games. That's the jinx.
Yep.
We're rolling with the nightcast.
At least our first watch party of the year, that LSU game, which was a night game on the road, at least that one was a close, competitive, back and forth battle.
That's all.
And I think if we see that tonight, that's all we really need. It's just been these last two morning, afternoon, Saturday games. Those are the jinx. And also, I mean, I hate to say it, I hate to ruin the allure we have going here, but we don't control how the Hogs play. If the Hogs don't suck, the watch party is going to be fun. That's pretty much how it works. You can complain about our moods and all that, but it's like, if the team sucks, we're going to be in a bad mood. If the team plays well, we're going to be in a good mood. We are very simple creatures.
Even if they miss 19 out of their first 20 shots tonight, I am going to preserve my vibes as long as I can. There's no way I'm going to let myself get too far down until at least midway through the second half. If it's a disaster, I'm hanging in there. I've already set myself up for happiness tonight. It's happening.
Yep, it's going to happen. I feel good about it. And one of the reason being is because, you talked about the unpredictability of this team. That's exactly what it's been. I mean, you mentioned it. I think we even talked about it yesterday too, of how Arkansas, you thought you were counting them out, but then they get a big win here and there, and it kind of brings you back in a little bit. And that's kind of where maybe I'm overthinking it, which I certainly am. But all signs point to Arkansas losing tonight. If you look at the SARACEN spread, it's a touchdown essentially, is where it opened out for Arkansas. They're in Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's playing really well. It's a gym that is very strange. It's a late night game. Arkansas has a quicker turnaround. They don't have Thero playing. And it just seems like all the signs point towards Arkansas, especially coming off of that abysmal performance and them losing, which is almost why I feel weirdly okay and confident, because it seems like all that's going on. But yet here I am. I'm like, well, good, because this team's unpredictable. The signs pointing towards them losing makes me feel like they're actually going to win. And maybe that's just my sick way of trying to get myself psyched up for the game. I don't really know, but that's what I'm really hoping for. That's what I'm really hoping for tonight.
Yeah. I mean, me too. It's just, we'll know by the first media timeout what this is going to look like, because if they're just playing with the urgency that they did the entire month of February, they're going to be fine. They might not win, but they're going to be fine. But if they come out and they look like they did in the beginning in South Carolina, where it was just like they were playing in molasses, it's going to get ugly quick. Like, it's, for me, missed shots and all that kind of stuff aside, turnovers, whatever. It's just the intensity at which they play that I'm going to be looking for the most in this one. You'll know right out of the gates if they have it or not.
Yeah, it's really tough to forecast anything positive for this game coming off of just the worst team in the league absolutely annihilating you. But one thing I really do think is that Vanderbilt at home this year, especially in SEC play, has been pretty consistent, pretty steady. They don't. I think their worst performance at home in SEC play was losing by 12 to Auburn. We know how good they are, but they've beaten a lot of pretty good teams that, like, they just are pretty. And really all year, that's kind of been the story with Vanderbilt, is they don't really blow you away. They're not flashy, but they really don't lay many eggs. The only egg they've really laid was on the road against Oklahoma when they got 30 piece. But they're pretty consistently like a B- team. And so I really don't think we're going to see a thing where Arkansas is just going to run into a wagon like a Bama that's going to hit 17 threes and just put a fork in you. Arkansas is going to have a chance to win the game, but Vanderbilt doesn't really, on the defensive end, they'll let you get your game going, but like they don't really, I feel like they're going to be pretty consistent and steady. So Arkansas is going to have to do a lot of things well. They're going to have to not turn the ball over. They're going to have to take advantage of Vanderbilt's mediocre defense. But I agree, Curtis, that effort, we'll be able to know pretty early on if they're even in it or not. Because against South Carolina, it was never even a competitive bout, like from any point in the game.
No. And you don't want to see it again, too. And that's the thing with Vanderbilt. I was just looking at their last 6 games. I know everybody in the SEC is going to have a tough schedule because the SEC is so good. But they went 3-3 in their last 6 games, where they started with a 3-game losing streak with Auburn, who's really good, as we know, then Tennessee, and then Kentucky. Well, Auburn, they lost by 12. They only lost to 5 to Tennessee, and then ended up beating 20-piece by Kentucky. But then after that, they've won 3 straight. They're coming into this game and riding a 3-game win streak, as they beat Ole Miss by 5, beat Texas A&M by 2, and beat Missouri by 4. So you're having a team that's winning close games, and I think that that's also a sign of just how good of a team they are and how tough they're going to be, where they played one of their toughest stretches through this. And I'm hoping to, and I don't know, at Vanderbilt, this is his first year coach, and I know that there could be some things of how he approaches it and all that, but I'm also curious to see how Vanderbilt comes out against Arkansas, because are they going to be like, sheesh, okay, we got through that gauntlet, now we got these 2 games against Arkansas and Georgia. We should be able to take care of business here and finish out strong, because we took care of those tough teams. Are they going to come out motivated? Are they going to come out fired up, especially coming off of that game, that really exhausting game for them against Missouri? So, yeah, the beginning of this is going to be really important for both teams and for both squads. I know we obviously cover Arkansas and talk the most about them, and they have to come out motivated. But Vanderbilt could be one of those teams, too. I hate to use the term letdown, but it could be, considering the type of long, hard-fought, physical games that they'd had to go through over the past 3 games against really tough teams.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. There's something to be said too about just seeing it go through the net early. I think about that Kentucky game. You didn't really know what to expect from Arkansas in that one. They come out and Nelly Davis hits that 3 right away, first possession, and you're like, all right, cool, game on. A shot's gone in, you're feeling good. Thero goes down, and like you have no idea what to expect against Texas. All right, well, hell, I guess we got to start Trevin Brazile. Boom, back-to-back 3s from him to start the game, and then you're feeling good. It seems like that's kind of been something that's coincided with the, gosh, is this team about to get, are they officially done? Are we calling time of death, or are they going to be able to figure it out again? Usually them figuring it out starts with them making a 3 right out of the gates. So whatever that prop bet is tonight, I don't know who I'm picking for it. Maybe Big Z or something. I don't know, but you need that one to cash early.
It is funny how we always view these sporting events through this lens of we're trying to kind of like figure, we're like detectives trying to put all the pieces together to predict whether or not Arkansas is going to show up, when really, like you're saying, Curtis, it comes down to just what happens in the moment. Like if that first three goes in, you might see a completely different team. If Vanderbilt, comes out flat coming off of a huge letdown, like these are factors that we just don't know. And we can sit here and try and predict, but really it comes down to just what happens when they roll the balls out at 9 p.m. tonight. I want to emphasize that. We are going to be up really late tonight. I'm trying to pace myself. But another thing about this Arkansas team is that they are the antithesis of like all the detective work we try and do. Because anytime we try and predict their next step, we get it wrong. They are not leading us down a very consistent, predictable path. I remember talking to Curtis while we were walking into Rupp, and I was like, if this team plays well and wins tonight, it will be based on nothing that has happened to this point with this basketball team. And so we always, the whatever happened the last thing we saw, that's what we always, the lens we view it through. But like with this basketball team, it really doesn't matter. And so I won't be surprised if they come out flat and stink against Vanderbilt. Like it makes sense, but anyone acting like it's a foregone conclusion that this team's just going to roll out there and suck today, they very well could. They have that capability, but they're a roller coaster, man. And I think at this point we just got to strap in and enjoy it and see what happens. Like I know it sounds stupid to be like, hey, nobody knows what's going to happen to this team literally any day, but it's where we're at. But that's what's kind of fun.
Yeah. It keeps it interesting at the very minimum for that too. And I was trying to think, guys, of all the games that Arkansas has played this year, mainly conference play, I can only think of really one game where they started off strong and still lost, and that was the A&M game. When they got up 8-0 and felt like they were going through it and had it, but. I'm with you. It seems like so many times when the team starts off strong, you kind of have a big good feeling about it. Like Kentucky on the road. I know Kentucky started good too because they were hitting shots, but Arkansas was hitting their shots. Ended up paying out for them. The Texas game on the road, especially, like they started off strong and held their own. And I hate to say that it's so important that it makes the difference, but it certainly seems like it has this year. And this team, whether it's fragility or whatever you want to call it, but man, it's just such a difference maker whenever they get their confidence going early and they start hitting some shots and they just, seems like they've just become a completely different team. And it sucks because I hate to be looking at this game tonight where if Arkansas starts like 0 of 3 from the field and they're down, even if it's like 8-2, I'm like, oh, well, this is going to be a long night. But it's true. That's how it feels. And how it feels. It feels like it's going to be tough whenever they go out there and they don't start hitting their shots early, especially in that weird gym. I've never been to Vanderbilt's gym. But just looking at it, I know these guys have played in it before, but man, I just feel like it would throw me off completely with the benches being at the ends and stuff. I don't know. So maybe that plays a factor into it as well.
I guess that is a good thing to bring up in regards to playing at Vanderbilt. Most of these guys have done it. Like 3 of these dudes were at Kentucky. Trevin obviously has been there with Arkansas. And then you got, Jonas Adu, who's been at Tennessee. So at least for a majority of the guys who are going to be out there, they probably played a game in that gym before and they know what to expect. And I agree that matters. I'd be interested to see what like the road shooting splits are for teams that come in there. But there's just no way it can be worse than South Carolina. There's still something going on with those rims, man. I mean, that's insane. And how can you be so bad, just awful on the road? Have you guys watched South Carolina play anywhere else? I mean, they look terrible. And it's just, like I said on the pod, they look at the freaking Lakers on their home floor. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen, man.
And I think that's another thing with this particular Arkansas team is they've kind of shown that they're immune to the venue. Like, not necessarily that they're always good in the road, but like they've had some of their stinkerest games at home offensively, and like they've had some of their best performances on the road. Like, I'm not saying it's like a non-factor, the arena, because it always is. But I don't think it's as big of a variable as it probably is for a lot of those reasons, because these guys have played there before. And because it's not like Arkansas is a team that needs their home court advantage to be good. Because like I said, they've had some stinkers there as well. So I really think that, like I said earlier, there's nothing that you can pinpoint to figure out why this team is going to do the things that they do. They're just going to play the way they want to play on that given day. You just got to hope they woke up on the right side of the bed this morning.
That's what you got to hope for too. Folks, we'll get to your chats. So get you some good ones, some really good ones, and we'll be sure to star them and we'll read them here as the show goes on. But I'm always having fun with this, guys. I know we talk about it, but Arkansas and Vanderbilt, most memorable game between the two teams that you remember. That just first one that pops into your mind from previous years.
Daryl Macon.
It has to be.
I'm pointing to the ice in my veins is what
it has to be.
That was a great. That's one of the few wins I can remember Arkansas having in that arena. That was awesome. Dusty Hannas had some clutch buckets down the stretch in that one. What did Arkansas in the game on like a 17-2 run or something like that? It was crazy.
Yeah, it was something to where I remember Arkansas being down big, and Dusty Hannas kind of took over at the end. It was hitting threes, and I remember how shocked I was where there was an obvious foul on Macon when they shot the three, but that they called it, because I was just like, no way. I couldn't believe it. And I don't know, there's very few moments that you can say that one moment is more clutch or more important or more ballsy or onions, however you want to put it, at the end of games. But fellas, I don't know if there would be any other ballsier moment for a player than to hit 3 straight free throws to win a game. Because that's the thing.
Specifically.
Yeah, you're down 2, exactly. Like, you're down 2, so it's like you have a chance to tie it, or you can win it, but you better make at least 2 of 3. That is, I think, what was it? The Auburn-Virginia game in the Final Four? I think maybe it was tied, and the guy got fouled on a 3-point shot, and he made 2, or maybe Auburn was down 2. But either way, that's just a balls move, and I don't know of any other times. Like, game winners are great. 1 free throw is great. Any type of thing is great, but 3 straight free throws where you get the ball in your hands and you got to make it 3 times. I don't care where it's out on the floor or anything. That's, as Bill Rafferty says, that's onions double order sauteed.
Oh yeah.
So,
Go ahead, Andrew.
No, I was just saying, I pulled up the Vanderbilt box score, or the play-by-play from that. Mm-hmm. Arkansas was down 58-43 with 5 minutes to go in that game, and ended up winning 71-70. And yeah, like you said, Daryl Macon with 1 second on the clock. But yeah, down the stretch, you had Dusty Hannas layup, Daryl Macon free throws, Dusty Hannas free throws, Dusty Hannas layup, Daryl Macon 3 free throws, which came off an offensive rebound off of Dusty Hannas 3 miss. Hannas went 0 for 6 for 3, but scored 17 points. Arkansas just grinded that one out, man. That's awesome.
Dusty Hannas, noted rim menace over there, man. That's crazy. I was just gonna say, most of my Vanderbilt basketball memories are bad ones, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I remember the game a couple years ago in Bud Walton that they lost when Vanderbilt scored on that side inbounds play right before halftime, when Arkansas didn't put Connor Vanover on the ball, and then he wasn't able to do anything around the rim. It was just a horrible play. And then they had a side inbounds to tie or win it at the end. And JD Notae missed that shot. And it was like, can't believe this just happened. They figured it out after that. I also remember it might've been the last time they played at Vanderbilt when Kamani Johnson just like cross-checked the dude. And there was that whole scrum, and then Anthony Black's at the free throw line doing the tears thing at the student section. Arkansas is up like 13, and they go into the second half and then just wind up getting their doors blown off. One of the more embarrassing halves of basketball. I mean, that half was borderline as bad as the first half against South Carolina was. You just forget about it because they were up so much at halftime. That was a brutal, brutal beat. Muss was in a bad mood after the game. Ricky Council was calling him out in the press conference after the game. Like, that whole thing was a mess, bro.
I don't believe that for a second. Come on now. That never happened. But no, that was another game I was going to bring up, Curtis, because the one little quirk about that game I remember, it's the first time I've ever seen it. Arkansas shot 7 straight free throws. And no one else got the ball or anything because of fouls and technicals and all of that. Arkansas got to shoot 7 straight free throws. And I thought that was so, like, I'd like to know if that's ever happened before in Arkansas history, but definitely a funny moment, but not a fun game for that. But you're right. There's not been as many great moments, but I almost forgot when I was looking at Hogstat, shout out to him, that between 2017 and 2021, Arkansas beat Vanderbilt 7 straight times, was on a 7-game win streak against Vanderbilt. And then they went on a 3-game losing streak against Vanderbilt. But if you really want to take it to another level, since 2013, or from 2013 to 2021, Arkansas won literally 13 out of 14 games against Vanderbilt. So sure dominance there. But, again, those 3 straight that they had losses in 22 and 23, and then also 24, they did get them in the SEC tournament last year in one of the stupidest games I've ever seen. And me and Andrew watched that. I know, Curtis, you were there at the SEC tournament, but yeah, there's not been many great ones. But can you guys help me remember?
Buzzer beater in that game for it to go to overtime.
Yeah. That was. I think Arkansas had a big lead in that one too.
Mhm.
or at least a sizable lead. But guys, help me out. Was the Daryl Macon game, was that when the weird like fan ran up to Manny Watkins and gave him the worst middle finger I've ever seen? Was that game? I
I
feel like
don't
it
know.
was. I don't know if y'all remember that. I wish I could play it, but it was so funny. I think it was because Macon was doing the like celebrating, and the camera showed Manny kind of being in there in the half court, and this little like fan. I don't know if it looked like a grown adult, so maybe it wasn't a student or anything, but it's like, wait, they're like, little middle finger just barely went up, and they're just in his face doing it. Man, it's classless organization over there at Vanderbilt.
Dude, people in
Classless.
the chat are hyperventilating over this fast start thing. Like
Why?
they're all worked up about it. They're bringing up games from 9 weeks ago where Arkansas got off to a fast start or whatever. We're talking about the importance of getting off to a fast start tonight.
Yeah.
And when they've had these stinker performances, when you're really wondering about them, all I said is usually them getting back on track correlates with hitting an early three. Like, everybody relax, man. Take a
Yeah.
deep breath. Y'all are freaking out over it, dude.
Right. We were saying that like there's really not a ton in terms of correlation that you
Right.
can find to like find common ground between Arkansas's wins. But I definitely think on Saturday, we kind of said it. We were like, the first 8 minutes, if Arkansas can give South Carolina an option to quit, they'll quit. Instead, South Carolina gave Arkansas that option and they quit. It's more about like, you want to avoid Saturday. And so they have to get off to a fast start if they're going to not roll over and quit, because rolling over
Right.
and quit is very much an option on a Tuesday night at midnight when you're in Nashville and you've got another game Saturday that can determine your fate. So Arkansas would definitely quit if they didn't get off to a fast start in this game, in my opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll use that as part of our what to watch, because there's going to be a lot of things that we want to watch. And it's presented by our friends over at Bryant Technologies. Great people over there at Bryant Technologies. Really appreciate their partnership with us here at Inside Arkansas. They are delivering high quality infrastructure and security camera solutions to your home and to your business here in the state of Arkansas, as well as the surrounding bordering states of Arkansas. And they have exceptional workmanship, as well as commitment to keeping your business operations seamlessly connected and secure. That's including structured cabling, security camera installations, digital signage, TV mounting, even, which, people are like, I'm mounting a TV. It's easy. Okay. Try doing a multi amount of them. Try doing one that's 85 inches tall. I mean, that's something you want to have some help with, and you let it have the professionals do it over with Bryant Technologies, where they can help you with all your network and security needs. So give them a call today at 870-883-0330, or check out their website at bryantstechnologies.com with an S in between. bryantstechnologies.com. It's Bryant Technologies, quality work guaranteed. All right, so what to watch for, guys? As far as the fast start goes, the other point I wanted to make on that was, we know Arkansas is in a position where they have 7 players, and that's it. And I could be wrong about this, but as a game goes on, that usually means when you get a lot more tired and you could have some foul trouble, guys have to sit out, blah, 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 all of those things that could really impact a team lacking depth even more so. It's harder to come back from behind or start playing your best basketball when you get to that point. So get yourself a little bit of cushion. How about that? How about you just give yourself a little bit of a breathing room, so that way if the fatigue sets in or if there starts being some foul trouble or whatever, I'm not saying that it will guarantee you a win, but you'll at least still be in a really good position. If you just weather that small storm, you can find a way to win. That's my biggest thing, because if Arkansas gets down, I just don't know if they have the legs and the gas and everything to, when I say down, I'm talking about like double digits in the early second half. I just don't know if they have the legs right now to overcome that as easily as maybe what they did in previous years.
Well, you'd hope they would, because they're elite level athletes. Like after Saturday, it's hard not to wonder, about the gas tank. But I mean, shouldn't you be able to recover and play a damn basketball game? You played 30 of them, and it, like you're down one body from what you had the month before when you were doing everything that you were doing. I understand the cumulative effect, but still, like, I mean, these guys have state-of-the-art technology and, facilities where they can, speed up their recovery. They've got nutrition centers where they're taking care of their body, and like, get yourself ready to play, man. If we want to use that as an excuse, then we can. If it becomes a thing, that's unfortunate. I think about early in the season, remember when we were like, are these dudes even in shape? Like, they weren't even in the best shape early in the year. And I haven't felt like that was an issue, up until now, but it's a 40-minute basketball game. Like, go out there and give everything you have. I just hate this has become a deal with the roster build and the injuries and everything like that. But that's kind of where they're at. Well, they've got to get off to a hot start, because it's true, especially in overtime. I can't believe they wound up figuring that one out in overtime against Texas. Honestly, I mean, that was good on them. Good on them.
Well, I think that's what makes it interesting, is that not all 40-minute basketball games are the same. It's not like a thing where, hey, Arkansas has 7 guys who have X amount of cardio. They're going to play a 40-minute basketball game on Tuesday, which is going to require this much. And then on Saturday, they're going to play, and it's going to require. It's a very varying thing of each game kind of takes on an identity of its own. So why do they run out of gas in some games, and why do they not run out of gas in some games, like the Texas game? It's just kind of an adrenaline thing. It's how it plays out, how the confidence of each of your guys. And so it is always funny how no matter what, when they play bad, we always gravitate to that narrative of, well, just shorten rotation. They couldn't get it done. But it's like like you said, they get it done sometimes other than not. I also think there's something mentally when you have a task to do, you got a chore that was assigned, but like, you just can't get yourself to get up and do it. But if you get up to do something else and you're like, I'm here, I might as well go ahead and empty the dishwasher. If Arkansas has a chance late in this game where they can smell blood in the water and it's like, all right, it's 73-71 at the under 4 timeout, let's just go ahead and win this game. Then we can kind of, it'll kind of ease our conscience. We can go into Saturday, get that rest. You kind of feel, whenever you see the light at the end of the tunnel, it's easier to get there. And so I think, kind of going back to the point of Arkansas's fast start, if early on Arkansas has a chance to fade mentally, fade physically, get tired, get fatigued, it's going to be really hard to combat that. But if you're still in the game and you're kind of there and you can smell that blood, it's a little bit easier to get to the finish line, which we've seen this Arkansas team do in these close games. You usually see that it factor, that dog in them come out, but it's hard to have that dog in you for 40 full minutes. And that's what South Carolina was trying to do to Arkansas. They made everything tough on them. Vanderbilt defensively won't necessarily do that. They're not going to contest every single pass you take. They're not going to be attacking every dribble you take. And that's kind of what South Carolina did to Arkansas early. And Arkansas was like, we don't want to play in this game. They might like the style of play a little bit better in this Vandy game.
I'm hoping
Vanderbilt plays really, really fast. They press you, they trap you, they double ball screens.
But Arkansas will be able to, if Arkansas can get out and run, they don't really mind doing that, even though it is weird with a 7-man rotation. It's when it's like half court and you can't even make a pass you can't even pass around the perimeter without them defending everything you do. I think if they get out and run, they might find themselves a little bit more comfortable.
Are you trying to say it's like the fastest 40 or are we 40 minutes of
this
hell
program is built on, John,
or havoc, or whatever these other terms have been. Also too, real quick before we get to the chat, folks, there's no way to have into it. Dylan tweeted at me when we were talking about the Vandy games of series note. He said the Chandler Lawson Legacy game. Was that the tournament game last year, the SEC tournament game he's referring to? I guess I don't remember what the Chandler Lawson Legacy game is. Do you guys have any idea what that referencing to?
Against Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
Was he really good in that game, maybe?
Like last year in the tournament?
Well, and I just checked the tournament. Can't be that one because he went 0 of 2. So I don't think it would be that one.
Because I was going to say, we were in the locker room after that game, just trying to get to guys or whatever. And they'll be like, sometimes the news cameras follow the reporters around because they don't know what questions to ask. And I didn't want that. I was like, I don't want you guys having my stuff. Chandler Lawson was sitting over there by himself. So I went up to him. I was like, hey, you want to chat for a minute? He was like, me? You want to talk to me? I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about because I just checked both games last year and he never scored a point.
Okay,
so,
maybe he's thinking about somebody else.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. And I just brought it up and got trolled, which is obviously very possible. But let's get to some of your chats, folks. Hickory Hog says, at this point, I feel like they're more likely to get Boogie back than Thera.
Probably. That's probably true. Here's the thing. With Boogie, he's able to stay in shape. He's able to do all of his cardio. Like, he should have his legs, his lungs underneath him. When you're healed up, your thumb, good to go. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot, an upper body for a basketball player. It sucks with catching the ball, shooting the ball, dribbling the ball, and everything like that. When you're healed up, you're healed up. But for the legs, there's a lot more that goes into that, because you not only is it, well, I've got to get healed, then I've got to get back in game shape. I got to get my legs back underneath me. It's easier to overcome something like that in the upper body.
You think Boogie's already doing some cardio, getting on that treadmill a little bit?
We know he is. Yeah, he's been all over it, man. He's in there with Dave Rich doing the strength and conditioning.
Also, Chris says Boogie trying to come back this season according to Trey Biddy and Goodman.
I love how literally every day on this show since the Boogie thing went down, because initially it was reported by Rothstein as an out for the season injury. The U of A quickly clarified and was like, no, he's not out for the season. We have not set a timetable on that. So literally for like, how long ago was that? A month ago? For at least a month, we've been talking on the show. Every time we talk about Boogie, we say, well, now, hey, don't forget, guys, he was not ruled out for the season. We've talked about it several times about the possibility of him coming back and playing. And so now people are starting to make that same conclusion. And so now they're saying it, and people are like, whoa, well, it turns out Boogie's not out for the year. It's like, dude, we've been saying that for weeks.
They were talking about it on the doc, too. A couple of weeks ago when they had the Boogie segment, he was saying it. He's trying to work as hard as he can to get back and everything. It's all about the time frame, man. And it's going to be very close. I don't anticipate that he's ready in time, but it won't be for a lack of trying. So,
I also love this from Caleb. He says, "What is the over under that Cal won't talk to the media after the game since it won't be over till after 11?"
I think it's a road game.
He ain't talking to these dudes.
Oh.
You don't think so? The only thing I was thinking is that whenever it's a road game, he doesn't have anywhere to go other than just back. You know, like I'm assuming the team's all going to stay together. When it's a home game and he's like got a dinner, you know, I could see him really trying to get out of there. Because I remember people were talking about that with South Carolina. They were like, "Oh, he's not going to meet with the media." I was like, "Well, on the road, it's a little bit harder to duck. Weirdly enough."
Well, just like the team in general, it's unpredictable. We don't know. We just have to roll with it.
No rhyme or reason to Cal's appearances either.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Also from Caleb too, I thought this was funny. He's like, "Will Cal get a tech tonight because of being too far on the court because of where the bench is?" I mean, maybe. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why they built it. I'm sure they have a reason. I'm sure that's written somewhere of why they built it that way, but gross.
It's got you coaching on an island up there.
Yeah.
Cal's voice will be the only one heard. Does that give you guys comfort for this game?
No, not me. Also, Dalton says, "Neighbors wearing a shirt from a game we lost is bad vibes." Hey, this is a good shirt from the Elite Eight that Arkansas went to. And yes, they lost to Duke, but it's a memorabilia. It's where me and Curtis became friends.
That's like the shirts they ship to Kenya. You know, that'll be like, "Oh, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl this year." You know, it's like those shirts that never see the light of day. You're wearing one of them.
Dude, like I remember me and Curtis and Scotty went and looked because we wanted to get a shirt from there. I feel like this was the only shirt I could find that actually had an Elite Eight. They had Sweet 16 stuff, but like this was the only one you could show that it was the Elite Eight. And so I had to buy it. It's not exactly the best and well-made shirt. I'll say that, but still, it's good memories. It's good vibes. It's an Elite Eight. It's Elite Eight. Let's see. Also, Fred Chestnut. "Hey, fellas, sorry to not be on here lately. Been grinding away to get to the bottom of who smashed Big Kurt's window. Won't be able to attend watch party in Chihuahuas tonight. Got to bring justice to Big Kurt."
So he's not even going to Chihuahuas during this investigation.
Keep grinding, and if you get to the bottom of this, the cold Modelos are on me.
And I really want to meet the Chestnuts, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to. It's a good bit though. I respect it. It's a very good bit. Let's see. David says, "Curtis, is there a guy that's a bad matchup for us with the dude out? I feel like having a bad matchup against South Carolina was a huge factor."
I agree with that 100%. But no, not to the level that, you know, we've seen here. It's part of the reason that we were worried about Texas was because of Kaluma, and Arkansas was able to overcome that because Trevor Brazile decided to play for a change. And so that was nice to see. And Kaluma's got high variance. Colin Murray Boyles, he was going to bust Arkansas's ass no matter what, man. Like that was just going to happen without Thero. There was no answer. If you went big on him, he drove right by you. If you went small on him, he bodied you up. They had absolutely nothing for him. It was a disaster. He was outscoring Arkansas for like 33 minutes of the basketball game by himself. It was crazy. Vanderbilt, they don't really have that guy. But what I will say is with some of the things that Vanderbilt does defensively, when they are, you know, bringing some traps at you or, you know, pressing you, mixing some things up, Thero is that guy who's really good about like getting to open space, getting the ball and just attacking that kind of stuff. He would be a horrible matchup for Vandy, but you don't have him. It's like somebody else has got to step up and do that for you.
I'm sure somebody will. It's gonna go really good. I have a good feeling about it. Also,
hold on.
Go
This is
ahead.
a good point by Brandon here. Cal's daughter, she's the one that works at Vandy, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So he probably will want to stick around a little bit, but that might be his out Because sometimes he'll probably go to the press conference, but he'll answer and like on the second question, he's like, "Last one, we got a flight home. It's 2 degrees in Fayetteville or whatever." But now his out might be my daughter. I only get to see her every so often. He'll use
That was crazy when he cited the weather in Fayetteville when they were not in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when we were in Kentucky in Lexington, I remember talking with the KSR guys, and they brought up something similar where he said, because he sometimes, if you watch his press conference, he always say he has to do something. He said that one time at the end of a press conference, you could tell he like kind of forgot what he was going to say or what he had to do. And he's like, "All right, guys, last one. I gotta go get to my car." And like, yeah, we all got to go get to our car. Like, what does that mean? So
left my car in the parking lot.
Yeah. It's like, guys, I don't know where it's parked. There's so many lots out there. I got to honk the horn. I got to find it. It's going to take me a while. I got to get out of here. And also, too, Hunter Ratio says, how y'all feel about Arkansas money line in Georgia -1.5? It's plus 618 on BetSaracen.
I don't.
Who's Georgia got?
They're at South Carolina. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Mike White, just do us one favor, bro. Actually, it's kind of a win-win for Arkansas. Like if Georgia loses, you win, you can pass them, but Georgia wins, it could give you another quad one, so whatever. But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about Arkansas money line. Like I might like the cover. I think Arkansas is winning Saturday, regardless of how this goes. And I don't feel as confident in this one tonight.
Weirdly enough, so where's the spread at right now for Arkansas?
7.5. I looked about 10 o'clock this morning. It was 7.5.
Because it bumped up a good bit. Like it opened at like 3.5, 4 or whatever. I really actually kind of like Arkansas spread because I think they lose close tonight.
Yeah, it's still 7.5 according to BetSaracen. Over under set at 150 for tonight. So 75 a pop. And yeah, you can get that. And then money line is plus 250 for Arkansas.
I kind of like Arkansas losing just close. I feel like the over under, that's a perfect over under.
Yeah, it is. It's a good one.
I truly could see over or under. I don't know. They nailed it.
Yeah. So and then go ahead, Curtis.
Sorry, I know this is a Kentucky person, but I've seen a lot of this, and like it's already proven that that's not true.
I would say, did they not
literally won the first game that he was out?
They've already done it. Yeah. So that's all.
Loser had another comment. This is a Kentucky fan that's trying to like do a little. He's doing like a victory lap. He said, we were talking about the boogie stuff. He said, I'm sure a lottery pick is getting ready to come back and play in the NIT. Yeah, sure. Sounds about right. So this is wrong on a lot of levels. One, obviously, if Arkansas goes to the NIT, Boogie's not going to play. Not once did you ever hear anyone on this panel be like, yeah, Boogie's going to come back and play in the NIT. Obviously, it's for Arkansas, which is currently projected in just about every tournament field for the NCAA tournament. I think this is a Kentucky fan who, like, again, when Arkansas beat Kentucky, did the whole, well, good luck in the NIT bit, and then forgot to check back and realize that Arkansas basically played their way right into NCAA tournament contention. So, like, I don't know.
Boogie's also not a lottery pick. And he fell out of that early in SEC play, and now he's fallen out of several first round projections. So
well, you know what both those you know what both those comments are?
It's all fake bullshit.
It's pretty much what it is. It's all fake. It's just fake
so
stuff.
Glad we have that button now.
I know, me too. I know. I can't wait to add more. By the way, I know we're going to bring up Vice in last night's episode, but I know it's like apparently people are having trouble watching it.
Yeah, John, just tell us all about it, man. Like,
no,
because nobody knows.
I know. I don't want to spoil it because if it's if people haven't watched it yet. It was fine. It was a good episode. You got to see just a few quick things. You got to see the team when they have dinner and everything with Mrs. Cal, and she talked a little bit about that. And they covered the Missouri game, the Texas game pretty well. There's a little bit of there about the injury to Thero. Nothing that was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. It was just kind of a little bit more behind the scenes of Cal trying to figure out what's going on. And then also the 1990 team, when the Final Four team they honored, they kind of met up. And it was kind of cool to see Daryl Hawkins. He got fired up and started giving a speech and got in their face a little bit, like not in a bad way, but just like really intense. And they kind of walked away he walked away and he was done. And I could see Boogie kind of like laughing, like, dude, this guy was intense. Like it was very much in his face. But Cal even says, he's like, Hawk, I'm going to need you next to the bench tonight, my man. He's like, I need you over there with me because it was so cool. But few interesting little nuggets there, especially dealing with those big wins that they had. And there's some great Cal-isms. So I'm going to have to, once I get able to do it, I'll cut some of them. especially dealing with the officiating in that Texas game, as we knew was a little suspect at times. So that'll be really, really interesting. But yeah, Transplant Texan real quick says, Vice TV has the Razor's Edge episodes locked down now, unless you have cable, Hulu, Sling, or DirecTV subscription. Vice TV went Hogs Plus on us. I mean, maybe that's true. I have Sling, so maybe that's it. But I thought they were always locked down unless you had a subscription.
Nah, they give you like free watch things. You get like 3 30-minute passes or something. And it's worked fine. I've watched them the morning after every episode, but now there's an error code that pops up no matter what device or what browser I use. I've been trying to watch it all morning. Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you this, I've tried to also watch it on Sling, and I have like Vice because I use Sling, or I try to watch it on Vice, their website, because I have Sling, and it wasn't working for me either. So I think it's more of a Vice thing than it is for those errors and codes. At least.
Yeah, it seems like for me, it's been exclusively coming off of that website. So
yeah, but yeah, Curtis got some love though. He was the one that broke the news, folks. You're just gonna have to hear the dramatic music cut in.
Was there really music involved?
Dude, it cracked me up. I that's why I was trying to cut it. Because it won't let me screen record on Sling. So because I was trying to do it, but man, it's not funny because it's a great part of it, but just because I know you and I know like this is the music and everything, it's all happy go lucky, but then it just like cuts to black and then fades in with like the arena, and you hear Curtis saying the news coming out of Fayetteville is Adu Thero suffered an injury, and it's like he is out for the season, and like just boom, like it's so good. So yeah, you're gonna have to check it out, man. It's really funny.
I love it, man. And I'm never gonna escape the allegations, man, because at Hog Sports for like, what was it, Andrew? The entire time we were there, I was like, bad news, Kurt. You know, because I'd always come in there and be like, hey, listen, Arkansas's not getting Khalil Ware. Like he's not coming, and that's how it all started. And that was just me. That's what I was known as. And now the whole world is hearing me deliver bad news. It wasn't my fault. I didn't break it, but hey, you know.
Well, and also people always ignored like that whole bad news Kurt thing took place during Arkansas's best recruiting class ever to that point with Nick Smith, Anthony Black, Jordan Walsh, and all them. So really it was just like a couple guys on the internet. No disrespect to any of those folks. They're good folks, but you know how it is. When people have a bit, they're like, we got to run this into the ground.
Yeah, it was really well done, and it was almost like, because all you could hear your voice, but it's almost like, you know, you're one of those news guys. You have your earpiece. It's like, I'm getting it now. Look at breaking news. It's like just very, very, very well done. Very well done. So yeah, you get a little Curtis in your Razor's Edge action for those of you who haven't seen it yet. But
good.
Let's go ahead and also, before we get back to the chat, because I know we'll have more things to do there, but we appreciate Bryant Technologies. Let's do your Alumni Hall question of the day presented by Alumni Hall. Remember, folks, we will be there this Friday at noon doing a live show. So come hang out, come see us. If you come out and see us, you'll just come up to us, give us a little fist bump, get you some gift cards. You get yourself a discount. Just say Hogs by 20 at the counter, and they'll hook you up there too. They got all the Razorback apparel you could possibly want. It's almost overwhelming. So check them out and come hang out with us starting at noon. We'll be there for about 2:00 and hang out and get you some great deals on all the greatest and newest Razorback gear, whether it's Johnny O, Peter Millar, Nike, Columbia, everything they got for baseball season. They got all the new hats, all the official Razorback baseball hats in stock. So check them out today. It's Alumni Hall. You can also shop them online and have it shipped directly to your door at insidearkansas.com/alumni hall with code HOGSBY20 for 20% off. So guys, we were talking about the time tonight and being at 9 p.m. In football, since every game's Saturday normally, I think everybody can come to the agreement of what, 6:00 is like the best time for a football game, a home game. You know, I could understand 3:00 too, depending on what it is, but I think most people would say 6 p.m. Well, with basketball, because it's on different days and all of that, I was just curious, what is the perfect time and day for an SEC basketball game in your mind, as just as a fan? It could be a home game, it could be a road game, whatever it is. But here I gave 4 choices: a midweek 6 p.m., a midweek 8 p.m., Saturday early afternoon or noon, or Saturday night. Which would you guys say is your favorite time for an SEC basketball game?
I personally like the Saturday afternoon.
Okay. So like what time? Like a specific time?
It could be the nooner or the 3 p.m. Like either one of those. Like anything in the afternoon on a Saturday, I enjoy. A lot of my memories are those, those peak, CBS midday games. Like I love that stuff, man. That's my favorite. but I would go with either Saturday option over anything in the midweek, personally.
Yeah, I wish this Razorback basketball team liked playing at Saturday afternoon, because I agree that's the most ideal viewing time. And football is different for a few different reasons. One, the venue is affected by day or night, whereas basketball, obviously, the venue is going to still be the same venue. It's still going to look the same on TV. Like football looks cooler as a night game when the clouds come out and all that, sun goes down. Basketball doesn't really have that, so there's no sense in waiting to the night. And basketball doesn't really have the tailgating culture. Like, we all get excited for basketball games, but it's not like we do anything the day of leading up to it. So it's not like it would ruin anything going on. And so I think like that basketball, like I think that's kind of the prime time. I don't know if the numbers back that up, if like more people watch those basketball games, but I feel like growing up, the basketball games are, like you said, the basketball games you remember watching were usually that Saturday afternoon slot, whoever was playing on ESPN or whatever. I like that. That noon Saturday is pretty sweet.
Okay. You guys like that the Jefferson Pilot 11 a.m. specials? Or
heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. Like, I mean, Dave Neal on the call. Yeah, absolutely. But no, I gotta agree with you guys too. Maybe it's just because of what I grew up with and everything. But we think about basketball, SEC basketball. When is it? It's on Saturdays, also during the winter time, cold outside. So as a kid, you don't get to go outside much on Saturdays. It's usually when you had to clean the house or whatever. But I will always never forget, like at 1 p.m. and round 2, in the living room on the TV, you hear the and it just hit something different every time it happened. And so I always enjoyed at that point in time those particular games, like right there as soon as the lunchtime's over, But according to the very accurate and serious polling, we have a tie, guys. I think it might be the first time in a poll question history that we've done here for Alumni Hall. We have an official tie. And at 36.5%, Saturday early afternoons and Saturday nights, both set. Okay. Not surprising for Saturdays, but yeah. Both
Saturday
tied.
nights are cool.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, I don't know. We've had some weird ones on Saturday nights. I guess it was 9 p.m. local time in Lexington, right? But it was 8 o'clock back home. Is that what it was? That's a little too late for me. If you give me a nice, 6 p.m. Saturday tip, I can roll with that. That Missouri game, it sucked on the road, but it was I think it was like a 5:30 tip or something. It's like, all right, well.
Can we all agree? No matter, like, I know our jobs have changed a little bit over the years, but football, the worst possible football game start time is 3 p.m. because you can't really do anything leading up to the game in terms of like if you had plans or anything, and you can't really do anything at night either. I mean, other than like if you're going out, partying, you can be out all night, but it's like it's kind of tough to have lunch or dinner with a 3 p.m. kick, especially depending on what your job requires you to do. But Curtis, I know back in our journalist days, that sucked.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, it just shows the different backgrounds that us came from, because I actually enjoy those 3 p.m. games because it's enough time for you to kind of get going and tailgate and have a good time. And then when the game ends, especially if it was a good one, you just have time to go out. It's 6:30, 7 o'clock. Time gets you some dinner and everything. But I wasn't a big J journalist that had to write 18 articles about the things you guys saw in a game. So I didn't.
We literally leave the stadium at like 9:30. Like it would be by the time we'd actually leave, it would be so late. Whereas you would rather just the late kickoff, because then you leave like what's the difference between leaving at midnight and leaving at 1:30? It's not really that big of a difference. Leaving like the difference between like an 11 a.m. you get done at 4 or 5. That's actually like not a bad gig.
You remember after the the Liberty loss when we went through that whole post game thing and it was so cold, and we wound up with an unnamed coworker in one of those suites.
Yes.
Doing our work and having a couple adult sodies.
Yeah. And we were just reading message boards and chats and stuff and just dying laughing because everyone was so mad, dude. That was peak times.
One of my favorite moments in the Hog sports era. It was good times.
Yeah. Again, I enjoy anytime that I actually had to work for post game shows and stuff was on like being on the radio when I worked at ESPN Arkansas. It's kind of one of my favorite things because the 2 years I worked there were the 2 years of Chad Morris, and it wasn't fun to watch, but the reactions afterwards, just those phone lines, man, it was always a very great thing. In fact, for those on social media, big content guy, he was calling in pretty regularly, so you got to hear Yeah, he was on one, man. He was on one, and I had that dump buddy button ready just in case, because I never knew what he was going to say. But yeah, it's just amazing how times it goes. So, football, it thinks pretty consistent, but it's also about the matchups too, guys. Because if it's a big game and it's in Fayetteville, for sure, 1 at 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. But if it's a road game against Starkville, give me 11 a.m. all day, every day. Just get it out of the way. Like, I think last year Mississippi State was 11 a.m. on the road. I was like, that was perfect. Just they beat them, got out, we're done. Like,
we got out of Stillwater. We were like home for dinner.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah, got there. Isn't it nice? I know it's such a thing that they didn't win, but man, it was so nice being able to drive to a major college football game that was a road game and drive back in the same day and not feel like you were out for hours upon hours. It's really
didn't have to wake up crazy early either.
Yeah,
we left pretty early, but like nothing crazy.
Yeah.
At some point, they'll go to Norman for a game. That'll be a really fun trip.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Well, I've never been to Norman.
Yeah,
I've been to Norman once, and not great. Not great.
We're gonna be storming Norman.
Yeah, there's a reason why, guys. There's a reason why Baker Mayfield got tackled in Fayetteville and not in Norman. I'm just saying. There's a reason why he did, and he was there in Fayetteville, Dixon Street. It'll get you. But yeah, still. Okay, so we'll just take this another step before we go. Baseball, then. What's the ideal time for a baseball game, Andrew? Like, what's your ideal time, day?
Afternoon, I get. I don't know. I also like. I really love those Friday night. This actually needs one. Friday night, 6:30, 7:30. The best time ever. It just when you got the aces on the mound and it's like 3-2. That's peak ball right there.
Heck yes. Yep.
Yeah. I love the Friday night games too, because it's like everyone gets off work. They're like, the weekend, and usually the weather's nicer because it's later in the night, and you can start off where you got almost always your best pitchers out there, your ace, and yeah, there's something special and magical about that. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Which, by the way, yeah, baseball is still happening according to sources today at 3, and tomorrow
it's definitely gonna happen, dude. This ain't no Mickey Mouse operation that we got going on at Baum-Walker Stadium. We can account for some water. We'll get that drained pretty quickly. My best men are on it. They're gonna play baseball today.
Well, and that's what I love. And one thing I have learned about Dave Van Horn in his time, there is no bigger grass guy than Dave Van Horn. And when it comes to field and grass, whether it's with rain or no rain or the manicure of it, the dude is obsessed with it, and he's going to make sure his field is ready to play on.
Dude, his weather intel is undefeated too. Every time Arkansas moves around a series and changes it up, it ends up being the flawless, where it's like as soon as the game starts, it stops storming, and as soon as the game ends, it starts. Like if they move a time around, it's usually a very educated decision. He blows me away, because sometimes I'll be looking at it and I'm like, I don't know, the weather app says this, and he's like, no, it's not gonna be raining at 3:00. Trust me, and then it just won't be.
I could see Dave with the the Farmer's Almanac, like still looking at it every day in the books, and I feel like when he wakes up in the morning, the Weather Channel's on. He's just checking, even if it has nothing to do with Arkansas. It's just seeing the weather.
I definitely don't envy the grounds crew that have to hear from him when stuff gets messed up.
Oh man,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can imagine. That's probably the job that nobody wants, is to be the groundskeeper over there at Baum-Walker, because he's probably harder on them than he is his own players. But either way, should be a good one here today. And let's just keep it moving then as we get into what's going on with BetSaracen and the BetSaracen app. There's a lot of prop plays, as well as we'll do some buy or sell action, have some fun with that. And remember, folks, it's the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas for a reason. It's because they're the best at it. You get the best deals. They got all the specials going on for basketball and baseball right now for the Razorbacks. But any sport that you want to bet on, they got futures. They got it all. Use it with the BetSaracen app. You can download it on your iPhone or on your Android. You can also go to BetSaracen.com and get to winning here today. A few quick ones before we get to buy or sell, guys. I just got to ask, who's going to be the one that scores the first points for Arkansas tonight?
DJ Wagner.
Yeah. Plus 450 if you want DJ Wagner.
Sure. I just hope it's not 7 minutes into the game.
God.
Nelly Davis. Attacks a closeout, 2 dribble pull up, mid-range cash.
Fumbles it, getting into his shooting motion, but still makes the shot.
Okay.
It'll be one of those things where like they get the defense kind of chasing, and so the guy who's closing out, it's like a reckless closeout that he's able to just take his time and set fire, but it'll look good.
So Nelly's at plus 250. Big Z's at plus 275. I'm curious, guys. The other is set at plus 350, and DJ Wagner's at plus 450. So who would be the other that they feel better about scoring than DJ Wagner? I guess
Trevin
Brazil
he starts. Yes.
Yeah, I guess because Carter Knox is at plus 550. So
it's just really disrespectful to Carter after the work he's put in. You know,
I've bet on him the past couple of times. I hadn't hit yet, but one of these times it is.
Yeah,
so maybe tonight's the night. Maybe tonight's the night. All right, so if you want, I'm just going to read this one. But the player with the double-double, who could have a double-double tonight, Big Z's at plus 450. DJ Wagner's at plus 750. Other at plus 1,000. So Jonas Adu, who had a double-double last week.
Doubling down, man. Jonas is doubling. He's back.
He's
back.
Double-double
He's
machine.
electric at South Carolina. Okay.
Dude,
he's back.
You know what he had? He had a Moses Kingsley game. Because that's what Moses Kingsley was notorious for, going like 11-10 or 10-11. Like there's just barely over it, but kept it going. Yeah, he's going to have one of those. Let's see. Also, I thought this was fascinating. So the quick bet specials for under 1.5 3-point field goals made in the first 3 minutes is minus 260. So they don't there's not going to be more than 1-3 made. There's what they're feeling. But if you go over 1.5 3-point field goals made in the first 3 minutes, you get plus 195. So kind of a little bit of interesting balance there.
Guys, can I share a secret with you real quick?
Yeah.
I really don't know if if there's like a bit here that I'm missing. I'm sure this won't be available in the next 2 hours, but for Arkansas's game tonight, the baseball game, I should clarify, there's a special that I feel like is 1,000% guaranteed to hit. That is at plus 160.
Hit me.
Colin Fisher. Let's see, man. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Colin Fisher over 1 2/3 total innings pitched, over 24.5 pitches, plus 160. Now, this is interesting because Colin Fisher's not about to have like a 6-inning start. He's not doing that. But the DVH was asked yesterday at the Swatters Club, how long will he go? He said about 50 pitches. So if he said about 50, so all he's got to do is go over 25 and get 6 outs.
Okay. I'm getting it right now. Yeah.
I really don't know. Like, I feel like we might get a text soon that's like, hey, shut up.
No, I'm feeling this right now.
Yeah, I'm on that. That's very good work there, Andrew. I like it.
I just well, also, by the way, if it works both ways, because Ben Bybee is listed as as a prop, and he's pitching tomorrow, but he's listed as a prop in this game. Don't bet on that one. He's not pitching today.
Oh man, and that's a good catch, because I was looking through a few of those too, and I didn't even see anything that really stood out. But no, that's a great one. You said it was what was it, plus 160? All right, guys, I don't know about you. I'm checking on it now, and it looks like it's gone.
Well, I just bet on it, so.
Okay, never mind. I see it. My bad. I see it.
I snuck that sucker in.
There's a lot of dude. Credit to SARACEN, dude. They've really rounded out. You know, they used to always do like just the one double R props, but like we talk about them on the show, but like now they have the so many tabs of specials. It's almost hard to sift through them all because they have so many different options of first point, first hit, first home run, and then all the player ones. Literally every player on the roster has a special. It's anything you want to bet on, they somehow have it covered.
Yeah. All right. That's a good one. I also like this one real quick too, because I know we'll get to the buy or sell. But how about this? What will be the Arkansas team inning with the most runs? Which inning will have the most runs?
Fourth.
If you say fourth,
2 or 4.
Fourth has the highest, best odds at plus 275.
Let's go fourth inning. Fourth inning bonanza.
Okay, because in the one that's if you have the 9th inning or extra inning, it's plus 3,000. It's the highest scoring. 8th inning's at plus 2,000, and the second inning is plus 1,300. The second inning.
Really?
Yeah,
I kind of like the second inning. That was one of my options there.
Yeah, I do too. So, yeah, you can check that out, and again, do it on BetSaracen, folks, in the specials there. So let's do a little bit.
The 8th and 9th innings are even going to be played.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I was looking at something right before we did the show. ULM run ruled Grambling in a midweek game, and Arkansas also run ruled Grambling. So This is basically the championship of a midweek semifinal.
What it sounds like to me.
Yep. Well, if you also think there's going to be an extra inning in this game, you can bet it on plus 2,000 if you think it's going to go to extra innings. So, all right, let's do a little buy or sell. Again, some of these have been submitted by a research team, our R&D department, and some of them are just thrown in there. Only the good ones are mine, though. Let's see. Buy or sell that Arkansas scores 75 points tonight against Vanderbilt.
Sell.
Yeah, I'm going to sell that as well. The over-under, like we were talking about earlier, is 150. So if you think Arkansas is going to score 75, you probably like the over. I think that Vanderbilt scores like right at 75, and I think Arkansas will be a few points below that.
Well, yeah, Vanderbilt gives up 74 points a game, and Arkansas is averaging 76 points a game. So that's why I went with the 75. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm probably selling it as well. I mean, it'd be great. I feel like if Arkansas probably wins if they scored over 75 points, but yeah, I just don't feel that way. How about this one? A Razorback player who hasn't played at all this season will record points this week in basketball.
Razorback player who hasn't played at all. Sell.
So that literally have to be like Melo Sanchez or not Jaden because he has played.
Well, when I say play at all, I mean like hasn't really done anything.
So, I mean,
not
Carl
the top
Lott
7 players.
would do this.
Yeah, like in
No
garbage
matter
time.
what, though.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no
I'm selling
time
it
for
too.
fun and games. No time for charity. We're trying to get to the tournament.
Yeah, you got to get those. What do they call them? What's the points that they throw at with the not celebration points, but whatever it is that you got to get bonus points on or whatever. You got to. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm stupid. I don't know. I'm just not saying things. Let's go to another buy or sell. How about this? Someone on the Razorback team / staff will get a technical tonight, and the reason I brought this one up is because Arkansas at Vanderbilt has gotten quite a few technicals in their day. So does that happen tonight?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll buy it.
Perfect.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to sell it, though.
Yeah. I'm buying it because I want to see one. I feel like Cal hasn't got one this year, and it's been disappointing. I want to see one.
Here's the problem. Arkansas is going to be in a tight game late. Really low-key can't afford to be giving points away on the road.
Yeah. Unless they get it early because the officiating's just not there. They don't put up with nonsense there in Nashville at 9 p.m. So I don't know. I'm kind of hoping it happens, but as long as Arkansas still wins. How about this one for Vol Baseball? Buy or sell that Baby Aloy will finish the season batting over 350.
So
I will sell it as well.
I'm buying it.
Nate
Thompson deserves a raise.
I saw a number that if he went, I think he's gone. He's had a couple outs since then, but if he goes like 0 for his next 22, he'll still be hitting over 300. But they haven't played a single SEC game.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're still going to play 30 games against SEC pitching. And so for he would have to hit like over 300 in SEC play, basically.
He's going to.
It'd be tough. Yeah.
He's going to happen. Over 350.
You know what's crazy? This is a hot take. I could see Vahiva hitting 350 and not Cahillo. Vahiva's at like 360 or something like right now. But like, I mean, he's a guy that I feel like, I mean, and neither of them will, but I could see him actually leading the team in average.
That'd be pretty fun if that ended up happening. All right, so these are just ones that are dealing with us because these were submitted. Buy or sell that Curtis will want to crash out tonight at some point during the watch along stream.
I will buy that easiest stock of all. This is easier than the Colin Fisher prop.
Yeah, that's the easiest buy in history. Hey, HH, there's your lock, man. There's your lock that I'll give you for sure.
Yeah. It's just I put it out like minus 500 that this will happen tonight. Might even more than that. So yeah. How about this one for Andrew? Andrew uses the term piss missile on social media streams during the Razorback baseball season at some point this year.
You good for it?
I'll do it, but I mean, mostly to make fun of John.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's
like when they're because John loves to tweet out piss missile when it's like a high towering fly ball that barely scrapes in. I'm like, all right, come on. So no, when there is an actual piss missile, I'll be like, hey, this is I might even like while I'm on stream text John and be like, hey, this is one.
Well, hey, you got to give me some credit. I did not tweet it out after that one home run. I guess who was it that hit it? That was like 94 off the bat.
What was that?
Wasn't Maxwell?
That'd have been Charles Davalon's.
Davalon's, yeah.
Field one, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't even do it for that one. I couldn't even make sense out of it.
Dude, you catch bomb on the right day, it plays small as hell.
Yeah. It
You
does.
catch it on the right day where the wind's kind of blowing towards left field. There'll be some to get in the hog pen that have absolutely no business getting up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And this one was, I don't know how I feel about this one, but I want y'all's take on it. Buy or sell that John has ever hit a game-winning shot in a pickup basketball game.
No, I don't think
In
he
a
was
pickup game?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, because to hit the game-winning shot, you really kind of low-key have to be the best player on the floor. Because once you get to the point where you're up 2018 or whatever, usually the best players just ices it out.
I think he is good for having just got one of those, I'm the only guy here. The offensive rebound fell into my hands and I put it back. Game blouses. I believe in you, John.
Yeah, thank you. Well, your belief is justified, but it's different from the answer you gave.
Oh,
Because I have actually hit 2 game winners in my lifetime.
Go.
And one of them was at the Boys and Girls Club when I was in high school. And that one, I'm going to give myself credit. And this is a true story. I hit a three-quarter court shot at the buzzer and won it. And it was the ugliest form because I used both hands and I just like tossed it like that and sunk it, no backboard or anything. So I did that. And then another time I did hit a 3 because I didn't get the rebound, but the ball got swatted by the guy who was awful on our team driving in, and he just got it packed and it threw to me, and I just shot it. And it's not a greater feeling in my life than that. So thank you,
man.
For those of you that bought
John,
it.
You probably think that no one remembers that game winner, and I'm here to tell you, I think at least 2 people on that court remember it. Yeah. I remember the most obscure game winner I've ever witnessed in a pickup game. I was at this thing called D Now. I don't know if y'all had D Now growing up. Discipleship Now. You just like the church has put it on, and you all go stay at someone's house, whatever. But there was like 12 kids. We were all staying at this house, and we stayed at a nice house that had a full-length basketball court. And this kid, Harrison Nugent, who ended up going to Georgetown, he made like a 35 on his ACT, like one of the smartest kids in the world, not the most athletic. And when you're 12 years old, that's usually the kid who's getting made fun of. He drained a game winner over one of our buddies. And so all week we were like, wow, dude, don't make us call Harrison. He's going to hit another game winner on you. But the rest of the weekend, we were like, oh, watch out. We're going to call Harrison to cook you one more time, whatever. I remember that game winner vividly. I feel like John had one of those in him.
Yeah.
If my memory serves me right, Andrew, didn't you get a game winner when we were playing out in Farmington, the media basketball games?
I don't know. I don't remember shooting well that day. I remember being really disappointed. I was JD Note. I had like a JD Note where he just couldn't find he was like 4 for 17. Like I had a rough shooting performance. I'm
almost positive you had a bank runner. Like later in the day, like nobody was really feeling like playing, but you just had the energy bug. I'm almost certain that it happened.
I'll take your word for it, but I'll tell you, the only thing I really remember is Tom Murphy was getting trash buckets like anybody's business, rebounding. Yeah. He's hard to move when he seals and boxes out. You're not getting that board.
Tom Murphy has the strongest glutes on any man on the planet.
Low center of gravity for sure.
Dude will box you out, man.
dude. And just speaking of like Tom Murphy, we did a flag football media game back when the media was liked, and it was so fun. And Tom Murphy was that dude. He was like out there playing tight end, and he was killing it. So yeah, I guess just a bona fide athlete is what Tom Murphy happened to be. I was just thinking because you said media basketball. There was certain media basketball games. I think may have happened before you guys came onto the beat, where a certain media member got into a fight and slapped somebody, and so there was never any more media basketball games after that. So yeah, that was not very, very good, but still, it was it was still fun to have those moments and to be able to have those game winners and shots, and maybe we need to have something pick back up because you guys play at like Farmington, like the Cardinals, Farmington,
like the outdoor court that's like right up here by my house, by that little park. I forgot the name of the park. It's like Creekside Park or whatever.
Yeah, decent courts.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like the ones where it's like you got to bring your own ball and you got to call next up, and it's like one of those atmospheres.
There was like maybe 3 people at the entire park this day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe we pick that back up once.
I'm down. I mean, I can walk to the place, so yeah, I'd be down to walk over there and hoop it up.
Sad. I can't remember the last time I've played basketball, so it would be pretty disgusting. All right, too, and finally, this one's self-serving, but I'll go ahead and throw it out there. Buy or sell that Arkansas will continue to dominate the digital sports landscape here in Arkansas.
It's a given.
Yep. Let's buy.
Bye.
I mean, there were a lot of shows that happened yesterday in the state of Arkansas that talked about sports, and people watched one of those shows. Just saying.
They sure did. They sure did. So, all right. We'll get to a few more of your chats, folks, here in just a second. And actually, let's go ahead and jump into it because I know we'll do an SEC update and talk about some of the SEC games going on tonight. I did want to bring this up. I'll tell you what, we'll do this. We'll do this for your Arkansas update presented by Davis & Garrett Insurance, your independent auto owners insurance agency, securing what matters the most. I wanted to bring this up because it was egregious. So Alex says Izzy Higginbottom got robbed of accolades. For those of you who don't know, or if you're following on, because I know the women's basketball team has struggled this year, and I think that's putting it mildly. They have not been good, but they came out with their basketball postseason awards, and they had first team and second team. And Izzy Higginbottom, who led the entire league in points and points per game, did not make the first or second team. Makes no sense. So she got robbed, and that's pretty terrible. So hate that for her because I know she's, again, the team has not been good, but she's been good. I mean, for crying out loud, they've kind of lost games because people try to pass it to her so often that they end up getting it stolen. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there and how she did get robbed.
At least give her a second team spot, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
I think if you lead the league in scoring, then you should, regardless of who you play for, like it feels like you should get first team honors. But that's a tough one, man. I hate
led
that.
the league in scoring and free throws. And I think I think the Razorback women's account tweeted out that like this is like the first time this has ever happened where the leading scorer of the conference wasn't on either team. Like that's, I don't know, it's crazy, but just another victim to her teammates let her down one more time. They let her down all season, couldn't help her get a few more wins. Now it's a real clear indicator that they let her down in a big picture way.
Yep, they sure did. A few questions here, though. Like our guy Logan says, they're going to be able to play baseball today. Weather is bad here in Central Arkansas. I guess we're on assumption, yep, they're playing. So haven't heard anything. But they will be playing today at 3:00. Let's see. Also, no, I'm trying to work through this Kentucky fan. He's an idiot. Let's see. This one, Double H says Saturday is going to be a long day. Basketball at 11, baseball at 2, and UFC for the nightcap.
This is the way right here. This is the way. It's rare that there are two Arkansas, like major Arkansas sporting events, and it doesn't overlap with UFC because I feel like they a lot of times do, but it times out perfectly. UFC will get going. I guess the main card's at 9 this weekend. It's gonna be a fun card.
Also, Brad says, weird question. Is this 9 p.m. Tuesday slot a normal one for SEC Network? We haven't played one, but they are doing this each week. From my understanding, this is a triple header where they have a game at 5, a game at 7, and a game at 9 on the SEC Network, which is stupid. But I don't know why. Why? Well, I'm not going to, whatever. It's just so dumb, and I don't understand it. And it's just unfortunate because if Arkansas was playing at 5 or even 7, it'd be fine. But when you're the 9:00 game, it sucks. So, yeah. I don't know if they do it, how often they do it, but it is something that they have done. This is just the first time Arkansas has done it. It's only the second time on a Tuesday Arkansas has played, which is crazy, this SEC season. The other one was LSU on the road, I believe, was when they played on a Tuesday. So,
yeah. Logan said, get ready for ESPN News. Seriously, though.
Yeah.
That's coming. And yeah, it's not going to be an exact 9:00 tip off. We're going to have all the monitor reviews. It's like we're in for the long haul, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But hang out with us.
Yes.
Could be worse.
That's right.
That late at night, I'm sure it won't go off the rails at all.
Nah.
Today, we're proving a point to the fan base.
Yeah.
We're always worried about these jinxes. Oh, if we do this, this is going to happen. And I'm as superstitious as the next guy. We're staring death right in the face. And we're saying, we're going to do this watch party until you play good basketball.
The first 2 or 3 we did with the previous regime went horribly. If you guys remember, just blowout games. And we're like, man, this sucks. How cool would it be if we finally got a good one? And then we had a nice string of really good games. And they lost some of them, but we had that Kentucky game at Rupp that was crazy. We had wins over Missouri. We had some good stuff. A really close game at Alabama. When the team is playing well and it's a competitive game like that, these get really, really fun. That's going to happen.
Yep. I still enjoyed the reaction that me and Andrew had at that buzzer beater against Vanderbilt in the SC tournament, because like Andrew just died laughing and I just died internally and just fell down. Like it was just like this. I hate this so much. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun though.
Well,
Inside
think about
Arkansas.
it. Those games, there were no stakes. Like the Arkansas, they needed to win that Vanderbilt game, but it's like they lost. Their season ended 12 hours later, and it meant nothing. Like it didn't really matter.
No.
There's actual stakes here tonight, and so the anxiety will be there. I won't be laughing if Arkansas gives up a horrible bucket to send it to OT tonight, because again, there's actually something to play for. I'll be a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I'm afraid of what I'll do to my furniture in my living room whenever that does happen. So let's just not let it happen. But also, Conklin says, hey, Inside Arkansas, do y'all agree that the key to the game is DJ and Nelly to combine for 30 tonight?
I mean, they need to do that. They absolutely need to do that. You can't have these games where your backcourt just doesn't give you anything. And it kind of, I mean, obviously it coincides with you when you lose games, but when you have 7 players, it's like Cal says it a million times and it gets old, but he's right. Like if you only got 7, you have to get something out of all of them. And Saturday, Arkansas got nothing out of all of them. So like you just meet us in the middle here. I threw challenges at DJ and Nelly, and I also threw one at Big Z, because he has corresponded with Arkansas's success here since they've really turned things around, since Boogie got hurt. And he's got to be a lot better, because he had escaped some of the allegations of just being a 3-point specialist, and because he was playing more physical, he was scoring inside, holding his own and everything. And he just got bullied at South Carolina. Bounce back, man. Those 3 guys I think are really, really key.
How many games this year have we looked at and we've been like, man, imagine what would have happened for Arkansas if their guards had given them any scoring production?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been like 7 games in SEC play where we're just like, oh man, Arkansas was good here. They were good here, but their guards went 8 for 29. You're like, well, it's hard to win that way.
Yeah, and now you can't look at the box score at the end of the night and go, well, thank God Thero gave you his 18 like he always does. That's not there. It's like the pressure is ratcheted up even more for those guards, because we could do the thing where we're like, yeah, well, if TB just comes in as a starter for you and gives you a dozen like he did against Texas, what do you feel more comfortable relying on? Him repeating that performance consistently, or your starting guards giving you something? Like I think those guys are the ones who really need to step up here for you. I'm with you.
All right, so let's go ahead and move into your SEC update presented by Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com. Use promo code HOGSBY20 for 20% off your first purchase. Got 5 SEC games tonight. Of course, Arkansas being the late one. To start things off, a barn burner of Georgia and South Carolina at 5 p.m. on the SEC Network. That game's being played in Columbia. And SARACEN now has South Carolina favored by 1.5. So been moving around there. But if you get in on that action, you can wait an hour, and then you get on ESPN2 LSU going to Rupp and playing the Kentucky Wildcats
with like their whole team out.
Yeah,
I mean, like, LSU's got a bunch of dudes either out or doubtful or whatever. It's kind of
or bad at basketball.
Or well, yeah. On top of that, exactly. So.
Yeah, because by the way, they announced that they are bringing back McMahon next year, right? Is that that thing? Okay,
that's what up in the NIL the NIL budget for them.
Oh yeah, because that'll help.
They did it after they missed out on like 3 big recruits too. It's like maybe you could have done this 3 months ago. You would have had a couple guys.
Right. Yeah, Kentucky probably win this game and then lose on Saturday, and they'll build Mark Pope a statue for going 9-9.
Yay!
SEC.
Yeah. So. That's what they expect over there. 7 p.m. though, you have Texas going to Mississippi State there in Starkville. Texas has been awful, and it seems like the end of Rodney Terry's run is knocking at the door at this point in time. But Mississippi State fair by 7.5, according to BetSaracen.
A Mississippi State loss here would be the worst thing that could ever happen to Arkansas outside of their own game.
Yeah.
Like it would put Texas right back in the conversation. It would bump Mississippi State from a quad 1 opportunity. Like that would be a disaster. Like Chris Jans really needs to get this done.
You'd also get a little bit more of a like need to win type of Mississippi. Not that Mississippi State needs to win at this point, but like it would definitely help their motivation for Saturday.
Absolutely. And also top 25 matchup of the night on ESPN at 8:00. Got the number 1 team in the country, the Auburn Tigers, traveling to College Station, take on Texas A&M. Auburn favored by 4.5, according to BetSaracen.
I don't know where Quinn is today. Sneaky game.
Sneaky.
Yep.
A&M's been struggling. Auburn's already clinched the outright. Just, stranger things have happened. Strange things happen every day in College Station. So,
It's true. Just a lot of stuff we don't even hear about.
I think Auburn gets them. Auburn, obviously, Auburn can beat them, but I think Auburn could just thoroughly, if both of those teams show up and give even their B performance, if both teams play relative to their normal standing, I feel like Auburn beats them by 20.
Yeah.
I just feel like Auburn's a safely better team, but College Station is weird. But I feel like A&M got to be one of the least imposing atmospheres in college basketball, or in the SEC, I should say.
Well, it might be because you can get into the door right now for $6. It's a top 25 matchup tonight at 8 p.m. You can get in the door for $6, taking on the number one team. So
at least among good teams, it's the worst atmosphere. Obviously, if you go to when LSU's 2-15, okay, their atmosphere sucks. But among teams that are should have a good atmosphere,
yeah, they're not very good. And then of course Arkansas and Vanderbilt tonight. I'll be at 9 p.m. Again, hang out with us right here at Inside Arkansas. We're going to do a watch along as a group. And we're going to have fun as a group. We're going to enjoy each other's company. It's going to be a high level of success, and there's not going to be anybody getting upset. It's going to be totally fine. Totally fine. Also, real quick, a few chats here. Ben Stoned says,
Ben's been cooking.
Yeah. He says, thank you guys for having a show on my lunch break today because I usually have to hide in the porta potty at work to watch you guys. Hopefully the internet's good in there, man. But we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I have questions. I don't know if I want answers to them though, but I have questions. Be like, what job are you doing to where you have a porta potty? Is it construction? Is
yeah.
Is it just the only place you got? You're just outside in your house? I don't know, but appreciate you no matter what. And then David, because we kind of talked about it yesterday, but any more talk on the Bud Walton Arena changes? The only thing that we talked about kind of after the show, but the student section, the whole thing about that going up to the second level is not a thing. It's not a thing. There'll be student section level seating up there.
It already is.
Yeah. It's but it's not going to be exclusively, you guys are going up to the upper deck. I just felt like at the time of hearing that, there was just zero chance. Not even the U of A is that ballsy to do something dumb like that. But that's the latest. I don't really feel like much is going to be changing from my understanding, except maybe just moving over a section or two. Isn't that what we talked about, Curtis?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So yeah, we'll have that too. And it's funny how I don't know where those rumors got started. And I'm not saying that people were wrong in everything that was going up there, but I'm just who would buy that? And if anybody said that from the U of A or something, why? You're going to be up there in the section by yourself, the students, and that's where it's going to be. I just don't see that happening.
Well, and another part of the rumor that was going around was stuff that we already knew, which we had already talked about, which is that they're basically resetting their donation stuff. You have to up your donation if you want to keep your seats. That's already kind of been for sure. We've covered that, I feel pretty in depth, and we'll see how it plays out. I'm sure we'll hear tons of horror stories from people who go through that process and are like, oh, it was actually way, way worse, and I didn't end up paying X amount or whatever. But we kind of knew that if you were going to keep your season tickets, you were going to have to probably up your donation level a good bit. That's kind of the basis that we were operating off of since February, whenever they came out with this.
Yeah. I don't think they're not going to change too much. There's going to be some that change, but I don't think it's just going to be a 1 year you see Bud Walton in one way, and then the next year you walk in and it's just night and day. It doesn't even look recognizable in there. At least I hope that's not the case. And our guy, Derek Garduno, I hope you're doing well, man. Of course, in his fighting his battle with cancer, we're still thinking about you, man, and hoping for the best. He says, John, Curtis, and Andrew, y'all need to go hoop one day and stream it. Oh gosh.
I don't know about that. Yeah. We would definitely have to work up to it. We have to have some practices before we put it on camera.
The closest we might ever come to that, we've already done at the Leroy.
Yeah.
That is on the simulator.
Yeah, because and actually it's because it's going to be happening to me. Going to get out there live streaming, and my MCL is just going to pop, and just got to witness it in 4K. Everyone's going to see me just dying
in agony.
Yeah, just screaming in agony, and nobody remembers to shut the stream off, and it's just awkward. It's just going to happen. So I don't know about all that. But who knows? Maybe one day we'll go. Maybe we'll have a game, and then we'll recap it. It'll be like the old days where you can't watch it, but then we'll talk about it and give you the storylines of what all stood out from there. Like, because Camo Gangs over here says Inside Arkansas B-ball tournament, rent out Bud Walton, I'll throw down. Yeah, sure. Let's just rent out Bud Walton. They do that all the time.
You know what we should do? 3-on-3 basketball tournament that the money goes to charity. We have people pitch in for it. Maybe we can't do it at Bud Walton. Maybe we'll have to find a different venue. But among our listeners, everyone listening right now, get you a 3-on-3 team. Enter the tournament.
There we go.
And you know, I don't know. We'll send you the deets later, but we're gonna give it to charity.
Yeah,
I'm speaking this into existence.
Yeah,
3-on-3 basketball tournament. Let's do it.
What would the winner get?
Nothing.
We set aside a section that we're not going to give to charity, and we'll let them keep some of it. They get their money back.
Yeah, we should really just guilt them into it of just being like, you get to keep however much money that you want to keep, but the rest that you don't keep goes to charity. And then it just they have to feel really bad. Like, so how much do you want? How much are you taking from the kids' mouths? How much are you, hungry children? How much are you taking from them? Yeah,
we'll even let you publicly say, you know what, it's all going to charity, and then we'll meet with you behind a closed door, and we'll do what we got to do.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we'll have some chats too, but I wanted to play a couple of videos real quick, just randomly ones that I thought was amusing. Florida Gulf Coast, you guys remember them? They were fun.
Oh yeah, Dunk City.
Yeah, Dunk City. We talk about, I think we talk about on this show for sure, but talking about the handshake lines and how people always have a certain approach to it. Well, Pat Chambers, who's the head coach of Florida Gulf Coast, got into an altercation with the opposing player in the handshake line because of a dunk at the end of the game. Here's kind of a little bit of it. Obviously, Florida Gulf Coast is the home team. Doesn't one off.
Missed it too, damn.
Yeah, rough. Handshakes. Big push by another assistant coach. Try to get by the other players. Anyways, that was it. It was just kind of a weird move there for the handshake line. I don't, because he dunked at the end. It wouldn't even count. The buzzer went off like a second and a half beforehand. So just thought it was weird behavior for that.
Make the dunk.
Yeah. If you're going to do that, you got to make it. Also, too, I want y'all's thoughts on this. This is a very random video, but this is a Chinese company that put out $11 million onto the table for all their employees, and they told them to count it. So just to clarify, that's $11 million out there. And then they counted it. And then at some point they go, yeah, so whatever you counted, you get to keep. And then they just were confused by it and everything. So anyways, that's how they did out their bonuses, is they just put it out on a table, said to count it, and however many they got to, whoever counted the fastest, because they were working really hard, they're like, hey, you get to keep that. So for you businesses out there, it's one way to check it out. Yeah. I don't know why I thought that was funny, but I did. So, all right. And we just got a few minutes here. Is there any other chats that we missed?
I like this. Our guy, Mark Arnold, is proposing an in-season trade right before the deadline. He wants Derek Hood and Audis Tony. And in exchange, he's willing to part ways with Trevin and Adu. I think that's a pretty good trade. I think that would help.
Yeah, I would take that. That is funny after Cal's post game on Saturday, where he said, like, I can't make a trade. I can't pick anybody up on the waiver wire. Like, what we have is what we have. It's like, dang, but if you could.
He was like, I acquired. Trust me. I checked all the rules. I cannot trade these guys.
I'd love to have an Audis Tony right now.
Yeah. The guy that literally only thing I'll know him for, which I know he had some nice plays. I think he was the MVP of that Kansas City Invitational or whatever it was called, but it literally is just, hey, go guard the other team's best player, and that's your task every game.
The clamps on Chris Jans and Teddy Buckets.
Yep. That was key for that. But yes, I would make that trade as well. Like our guy Logan says, I'd love to have a Trey Wade.
Oh yeah, he'd be in that Thero spot right now, cooking.
Oh yeah,
Uncle Trey just hanging out in the corner, man, hitting threes, D'ing up.
I also love this from John Doe. He's like, I would trade DJ Wagner for Steph Curry if I was Cal. So it's true. Yeah.
Well, I was kind of thinking it was
Good
funny
one,
how
too.
like so many people were going with like modest trades.
Yeah.
And then now we're in the weeds here.
Yeah. Just go all out in it if you're going to be doing it that way. So, all right, guys. Any final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day, or at least pretend until we come back tonight at around 9 p.m.?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll have a lot of thoughts later, but just come hang out with us. Again, like it's 9:00 at night. Don't watch the game solo. You put the kids to bed. The wife doesn't care. Just hop on and hang out with us, man. It's a good time. We'll enjoy it.
Absolutely. Every single person in this chat right now has a TV in their bedroom that you could pull up the stream. Well, actually, I guess you'd have to pull up the game. I don't know. You can do the game on the laptop, us on the TV. If you want to see our faces, I feel like that's the way to go. But you could also put us on the laptop, game on the TV. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun night. I'm glad we paced ourselves. We didn't get too high or too low during this stream because we got to bring the energy tonight. And I'm excited to watch some baseball while I kill some time. And we'll be having a rehash of that thrilling bout between Arkansas and ULM. And stat padding season continues, and Arkansas basketball is getting a dub tonight.
Well, there you are. You heard it here first, but we appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching in to Inside Arkansas Live. Be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas. You can check out all of our great content at InsideArkansas.com for all the latest, greatest, up-to-date information. You can follow all of our podcasts under our podcast network, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, or the Bombastic Podcast, wherever podcasts are found. And you can also follow us on social media at Inside Arkansas. So for Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. We'll see you tonight, folks, starting at 9 p.m. for the Pod at the Palace watch-along. We'll see you then.